by Tania Page. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel today so that we can talk about some ways to simplify your lifestyle and spend more time with God. So this past year, I was really thinking about how can I have more impact in the relationships around me, in my neighborhood, and just in my family. And I really discovered that a lot of the times I wasn't having that impact I wanted to have because I was so busy. I was always having a project to do, or always needing to clean something, or there was always another chore as a wife and a mom and a writer that I had to take care of. And so I really dug deep, found this book by John Mark Comer called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. The basis of this book is that hurry is our biggest spiritual threat. It really threatens our spiritual life because we're always so busy. We're always in a rush. We don't know how to slow down and be present with God and have an intentional habits that keep us closer to God and keep us resting in God. And so what I did was, after reading that book, I experimented with my lifestyle and my routine a little bit, and I found these 5 ways that really helped me to slow down, spend time with God. And if you don't mind, I want to share them with you because I'm so passionate about this. It has really improved my lifestyle over the last 2 months. But before I get into those tips, I want to start by saying that the biggest thing that I found is that instead of trying to fit God into my busy schedule, I need to instead create a new routine, a new lifestyle that frees me up to spend quality time with God. And the Bible describes quality time with God as reading God's word, meditating on his word, prayer, and spending time in fellowship and hanging out and gathering with other people who love Jesus too. So, without further ado, let's dive into these 5 tips to consider some ways that you might be able to apply to your situation so that you can slow down and spend more time with Jesus. Step 1 is become a minimalist, or just put simply, adapt a simpler lifestyle, meaning less is more. And so the less things that we have, the less activities that we have going on in our schedules, the more time we're freed up because we're not working overtime to pay those things we bought off of our credit card off. The more time we have because we're not doing like 5, 6 multitasking projects at the same time, not doing anything good at all. But we have more time, we're more freed up to be intentional in the activities that we do have, and then to make that time with God because we haven't packed our schedule so jam full, or we don't have so much stuff so that we have to constantly clean it, maintain it, or work so we can pay it off. So that's the point of living a simple lifestyle. For me, I started by decluttering my house, meaning my clothes. I had a ton of books. I decluttered my books. I also worked on cleaning out Gabby's toys, and we simplified how many dishes that we used. Now it takes us like 1 hour to clean the whole apartment, and it's most of the time it's just clean, and I just feel so much better without that constant nagging in the back of my head, oh, clean this or fix this. And so I hope that helps you as well. Another way is by simplifying the goals that you have in a given season of your life. I totally understand if you're like me, you're a mom, you're a wife, but you want to write a book, you want to have your own business, you want to have a ministry, you want to do evangelism all the time, all these different things, but you don't have all the time. You are a limited human being. Only God is limitless, and that's what we need to accept. And so we need to think about and just prayerfully discern, okay, God, this is the season that I'm in right now. What opportunities are present for me to pursue ABC goal? And what's another goal that what's the XYZ goal that I need to press pause on right now? And it helps me to be more content in the season I am now without looking forward in a sinful kind of anticipation. Like when you just here living in the moment, but you're so looking ahead to the next season, or I can't wait till I'm able to do this, that you can't even be grateful for where God has you right now. So that's so important. Not all of your dreams are going to happen at once, but you can pray and ask God to show you what it is that you can do right now, so that you're not scatterbrained, you're honed in on your purpose and your mission for the moment. Step 2 is simplify those long, draining tasks that you have in your lifestyle right now. Simplify and outsource them. So the first thing you can do is just ask for help. I know, it's so hard, right? Asking for help. If you're married, or if you have some loved ones or parents, or just some friends that are willing to, get with you and help you, and maybe they too want to spend more time with God, you can get together and figure out what are some of the tasks that maybe me and you can join hands together in. And you can ask your parents to, volunteer to watch the kids some night, or you can find a service. You can subscribe to a service or get a service. Like for me, one thing that's helpful is Parents Day Out. My baby girl goes twice a week for 5 hours, and that gives me time to have some time alone, to rejuvenate, to be the best mom that I can be, so I can have some time to care for myself. This is not a sponsored video, but HelloFresh and Misfits really helped me to save time figuring out what I'm going to cook for dinner, going to the grocery store, cooking it then, and I hate that. It takes so long, and I don't enjoy doing it, so it's even more draining. But having that service really helps me to have more time and to have more emotional energy, because I'm not drained by doing something that I really can't stand doing. Number 3 is ditch the digital distractions. So if you have a cell phone or a TV or a computer or anything like a game device, then you probably already know where I'm going with this. There's so much of our time is spent on these devices, and it's really affecting our ability to concentrate. Our attention span is about 8 seconds right now, according to research. That's shorter than a goldfish, as I heard. All right, so it's pretty bad. And I'm sure you're probably feeling the effects of this. If you're like me, you go to pray. When you finally do make time to pray, you sit down, you can't concentrate on what you want to pray for. You don't know what to say, and you just start feeling all uncomfortable, like you're doing it wrong. So you just stop, you quit. But if we can just take some time to train our bodies and our minds to live IRL in real life, then it'll definitely help us to be more intentional, especially when we're spending time with God. Another thing quickly that helps me when I'm praying and I can't stay focused is to write down a list of what I'm going to pray about, and then I can go list line by line, list by list. But the point is that when we stop spending 6 hours on our phone or on Instagram, then we can spend that time doing something more spiritually productive and more loving with our family, being together with our family, finding out what your kid likes, or what your sister likes, or what your roommate is into, and going to do an activity like that with them, bonding with each other instead of just being on all these devices and not being able to physically concentrate, because it programs us that way. So consider the ways that you can get off of your phone. Number 4 is start thinking out of the quiet time box. If you feel like the only time you're spending time with God is when you wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, read the Bible, and lay prostrate on the ground praying, you pray prostrate on the ground. That's when you lay out on the floor, your face on the floor, and then memorize or write alone, pray for an hour after that. Then you're probably gonna be so intimidated by spending time with God, or you're gonna have such a perfectionist idea of what it means to be spending time with God, that number 1 is gonna push you towards this checkbox Christianity, where you're really just only doing it because what you think you have to do, and then 2, you're never really gonna try to attempt that, because life doesn't always allow you to do that. Even Jesus' life did not always allow him to do that. Read the Gospels. Sometimes Jesus just had to get up in the middle of the night and go pray, or leave super early in the morning and go pray by himself, or he got away whenever he could. And so if you're like me, for example, you're a mom, then you get away when you can get away. But you can also invite God into those quiet, bored moments in your life, when you're waiting in line at the grocery store, when you're making your commute to your job. You can listen to the Bible through an audio Bible or sermon, or read the book that you're reading it with your small group, via audio Bible, or when you're playing with your kid. When you have a moment of boredom, instead of thinking, oh, I'm bored, go to God, just pray. It doesn't have to be like 2-hour prayer, or you don't always have to read a whole chapter of the Bible every time you sit down. If you take those moments and just train yourself to be in 2 places at one time, be doing the dishes, but also be thinking about what you're grateful for, or be putting your kid to sleep, but also be praying over your kid while you're doing that. So don't feel like you have to have your quiet time in this box. It doesn't have to be like that. And actually, it's better when you invite God into all parts of your life, all parts of your day, because then not only do you spend more time with him and feel that intimacy with him, it protects you and protects your mind from entering into or giving into that enticing sin, because you're not at church on Sunday, or it's not Wednesday night, you're not at Bible study group. You can train yourself to worship God all the time, wherever you are. Number 5 is find a source of motivation. For me, let me give you a quick example. I'm trying to pay off debt. So what I like to do is listen to Dave Ramsey every day. Even if I don't feel like it, even if I'm not in the debt listening to mood, it helps me to think about how to exercise discipline in my finances. And that actually, it's a Christian program too, but it actually flows into every other area of my life. Like, it makes me think about how I can have discipline with food, or how I can have discipline with my time. And so that is, having that podcast or that Facebook group or your small group or a mentor from your church or a Christian that that's mature, that you can go to frequently, so that you can just be encouraged by each other mutually to continue in that and growing faithfully. One thing that we all should have is our church. We should all have a local church that we're participating in. And it's very biblical. I'm going to leave some scriptures for you to read below. But having that source of motivation will keep you going. Hearing the testimonies of people who paid off their debt, seeing the videos of their lifestyle now that they have, all of that keeps me thinking, okay, I gotta keep going. Okay, I can't buy a dress right now, but I'm gonna pay this bill, and one day I'm gonna be able to buy a dress whenever I want to, and buy dresses for other people if I want to, okay? So find your source of motivation and keep going. If you're struggling with this, know that it's okay. Even after you do all these steps, you're still gonna have days where it's unnatural for you to prioritize God. And that's because we're human beings and we need Jesus to help us and empower us to do those things. So do not beat yourself up. Do not condemn yourself. If you are in Christ, there's no condemnation for you. Jesus has given us everything we need to live godly lives. So if you feel like you're slipping off, or you're not, hitting the mark, or you're not on your goal, just repent, go to God and ask him to help you, to empower you to do that. And then just, again, link arms with your support group, wherever your source of motivation is, especially through your local church. And just keep moving forward, keep picking yourself up, and keep trying every day, because none of us are going to worship God perfectly on this side of eternity. It's not going to be until we're in heaven with him that we can worship him perfectly. But that doesn't mean that we won't strive for spiritual growth here and now where we are. And you're going to find that as you go closer with God, because you're spending time with God, you're going to love him more and more, and it's going to become more natural to you to just do these things versus having to have a list or those constant reminders or habit changes in order to get you to that place, because spending time with God will get you to that. So let's stop trying to fit God, jam God into our busy schedules and start making more time with Him by slowing down with these 5 steps. Let me know in the comments if you have some actionable tips or something that really helps you to slow down and really devote your focus to God and just be present with God throughout your week. Let us know. We want to know. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, sister, keep the faith.